Good morning, students. We were discussing about cash flow statement. Let us go with the next illustration under indirect method. The following is the statement profit and loss of MNR Limited for the year ended 31st March 2018. That given the statement of profit and loss, that is revenue from operation 10 lakh, expenses, that is cost of material consumed 50,000, purchase of stock in trade, that is 5 lakh, other expenses 3 lakh, that is total income will be 8 lakh 50,000 and profit before taxes 1 lakh 50,000. In the sum they had given additional information. First one, trade receivable decreased by rupees 30,000 during the year. Second one, prepaid expenses increased by rupees 5,000 during the year. Trade payables increased by rupees 15,000 during the year. Outstanding expenses incurred by rupees 3,000 during the year. Other expenses included depreciation rupees 25,000. Compute net cash from operation for the year ended 31st March 2018 by indirect method. Now, before going to the sum, we are clear now what are the basic information that we require for an indirect method. Okay, the first information that we require is net profit. Second information related to the expenses and incomes of the firm, that is expenses has to be added to the net profit whereas income has to be deducted from the net profit. Third information is related to the increase and decrease in the current asset as well as in current liabilities, that we have to keep it in mind. Now, let us go with the sum now. So, first I have written Yamuna Limited cash flow statement for the year ending 31st March 2018. Now, what is the first information that we required for the sum? We required about profit before tax. I have written 1,50,000 where it has been given. They said they had given a profit and loss statement for us, but we required only the profit of the firm. That is, at that particular year end, we have 1,50,000 as a profit. Okay, that we have specified in the sum over here, that is 1,50,000. That is nothing but profit before tax. Now, have they given anything? Now, the next step will be about the adjustment. Okay, now additional information I have to go because in the statement of profit and loss account, we need only the profit. So, we have specified that net profit, profit before the tax will be 1,50,000. Now, let us go with the first information. They said trade receivables increased by 30,000 during the year. Now, trade receivable decreased. We know here increase in current asset and decrease in current liability has to be deducted, whereas increase in current liability and decrease in current asset to be added back. Decrease in current asset. We know that trade receivable is nothing but an current asset. That is why what we have done here, decrease in trade receivable 30,000 we have added back. Decrease in trade receivable. Trade receivable is nothing but current asset. ನಾನು ಮೊದಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ರಿಸೀವೇಬಲ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಬಿಲ್ಸ್ ರಿಸೀವೇಬಲ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಸೈಡಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ರಿಸೀವೇಬಲ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಸೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ದ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, ಪ್ರೀಪೇಯ್ಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ 5,000 ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಇಯರ್. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸನ್ನು ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ? Prepaid expenses it is. Prepaid expenses always comes in the asset side. So we say increase in prepaid expenses involves payment of cash towards the expenses in advance. Modle kottiruvantaddu. That is why what we'll do? We'll deduct that amount. Increase in prepaid expenses ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ನಾವು? 5,000 rupees ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. What is the next information? They said trade payable increased by 15,000 during the year. Trade payables ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೇನು? ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬಿಲಿಟಿ. ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬಿಲಿಟೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ? ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬಿಲಿಟೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ದ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್. ಸೊ 15,000 we have added. Trade payable It has been increased, that is why 15,000 we have added back. What is the next information? They said outstanding expenses increased by 3,000. Okay, outstanding expenses. It is a outstanding expenses anta bandre it is nothing but current liability. Current liabilities ಅಲ್ಲಿ increase ಆದರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? We have to add it back. So increase in outstanding expenses, we call it as a current liability. So we have to increase ಆಗಿದೆ current liabilities ಅಲ್ಲಿ, we have to add it back to the net profit. Okay, what is the next information that given about depreciation? Okay, sorry, other expenses included okay, one more information. Other expenses included depreciation of rupees 25,000. We know depreciation is nothing but reduction in the value of an asset. So depreciation ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ? We will add it back to the net profit. Now here we have end up with all the information. We have written the profit. We have written about trade receivable. We have specified about prepaid expenses. We have specified about trade payable. Outstanding expenses ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಡೆಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಕೂಡ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೇವೆ. We have finished with all the information. Now what is the next procedure? So ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ add amount ಇದೆ, that is nothing but 1,50,000, we have 30,000, then we have 15,000, then outstanding expenses 3,000 ಇದೆ, then depreciation 25,000. Add all this. From this amount you have to deduct 5,000 rupees. That you have to deduct, will get the amount as 2,80,000 rupees. So the amount will be net cash from operations.